He's showing me a load of wood that somebody's offering us.
Oh, nice.
The problem is you can see what they do is at the head of the truck, they put the base part of the trunk, and so they try to hide the big hole, right? And so they say, oh, it's a perfect log, let me bring it to you. You know, but there's always, there's a hole, from when it's dead. And so they try to slide it off that way. And so that's what I was saying. I was like, it looks like it's like rotten out in the center, which we don't mind, but they try to trick you on that. It's a perfect log, and when it arrives, it has a big rotten hole in it. Mike, 4 corazones.
Sí, pues ya no se ve el...
Mike, yo quiero ver el otro lado. El otro lado va a quedar más pichudo.
Sí, pero no.
He's saying that he loves the crosscuts. They came out really nice.
No. Se ve más pichudo del otro lado, ahorita la que van saliendo ahí.
Ya casi se está llegando ahí.
Falta una nada más y ya.
They're one crosscut, and then they're going to the other side. So here, this is where we're stockpiling all our logs. This is what we're going to be milling for over the next couple months. Right now it's dry season, and so everyone's taking advantage of the dry season to actually extract the logs, because typically these are out on a big farm, mountains they have to go over, pull them down, big hills, and so in the wet season when it's very rainy, impossible to get the big trucks with the big logs down it. They attempt it, but it's a bit dangerous. So right now it's the safe season, to pull everything out. So we buy right now. So we have, years worth to keep milling. And so you'll see we have a nice stockpile. We would try to separate it out, have everything organized. Our monkey pod, Perotis pile. The smaller logs will be used for the live edge lumber, dimensional lumber. We got our famous Jatoba log over there that they're using for the that Zach's bought. Everyone's going nuts. Even the guys here at the mill, everyone's coming over and checking out the crosscuts that are coming out. Because you never know until you split it open. You see how beautiful the wood is inside, and they're just coming out amazing. Everyone, even the owner of the mill, is just surprised how nice the Jatoba crosscuts are coming out.
And you said that's the 500-year-old tree, right?
At least 500. I want to get to the center of it, where it's the center base, and I really want to count it. I'm gonna take a very nice picture, and I have one of my uncles is a professor, a forestry professor here at one of the local universities, and so I'm gonna send him the picture and ask him what his thoughts are on it, and have his evaluation of the tree. So as you can tell, everyone always wants to know how sustainable we are. Do we have the proper permits and licenses for the extraction of these trees? And the best way to show, instead of a document or that, the proof is in the pudding. You can physically see these trees have died, have come to the end of their life cycle. It's not just this one here, this one. They've all started to rot from the heart, from the inside out. And basically, if you don't extract it now, this one, for many people, they wouldn't want to touch this. A typical mill, they're not interested in this because the amount of loss. So it's going to be a lot of work to mill this. And if you're going to build typical dimensional lumber, you're going to have a lot of waste. You'll have a lot of waste with the hole, with the rot in the center. But in our business, in what we're doing with the slabs, it's better. It's best of both worlds. One for the environment. You're waiting till that tree has come to the end of the life cycle. You don't want it to go too far, because it's going to start rotting, it's going to fall over, and it'll be completely garbage. We love it for the slabs. It's a lot of character, it gives a lot of depth to the wood. Everyone goes nuts because they like the resin. And so, you can see this was probably dead for a couple years. This one here, it's a smaller hole, but it's still dying, and as you can see, it doesn't matter how big the tree is. Sometimes it's smaller, sometimes it's bigger. But this is a dead tree. It's dying from the inside out. The longer you let it sit there, the worse it's going to get, and eventually it's going to fall over in a windstorm or something like that. So it's not just those two. You can see here, here it's every log. You'll see just about on the bottom side where you couldn't begin to rot. That's come to the end of the life cycle. So it's very important that we take advantage of this wood, and we're putting it to a good use. So we're going to turn this into tables that's going to last for generations and generations. instead of it, falling over in some farm, some dairy farm, fall over and go to waste. So it'll be turned into, tables. It'll be conference tables in someone's house that'll, last forever, and that carbon footprint will never be released. So wood is very important, that you take advantage of it while it's still stable. Meaning why it's so much better to build with wood than compared to fossil fuels. Like even steel, concrete, those are all fossil fuels, where compared to wood is not. Wood is, absorbs that carbon, and as long as it's being used in, tables, dimensional, lumber or something like that, that carbon footprint is staying there, not getting released into the atmosphere. So here, an article real quick says, when people install wood floors instead of vinyl flooring, carbon emissions can be as much as 20% less, 20 times lower, which is a lot. So basically it's, as long as we're using that wood and recycling that wood, turning into a furniture, that carbon footprint is going to stay there, instead of allowing it to rot in the forest or in the farmland that it's coming from. So it's very important that we do take advantage of these trees and not allow them to rot. Even as Zach's father was saying, back in the States, they did the same thing. They'd look at a tree with a big hole in the center, and that would just go to the burn pile. Instead of here, we want to take advantage of that, especially, for the slabs business. That's more character, more color, more figure, and a lot of people are looking, to fill that in with resin. So here you can just take a small look, left, right, hole, see everything is dying, or, at least, begin the process of dying. So Costa Rica is very strict on the logs that can be extracted. There's a 3 trees per 3 hectares per 3 years. We don't want to extract them too fast. You always want to allow them to get to the end of their life cycle, so they're absorbing that carbon footprint, and then turn it into a sustainable, a product where it's not going to release, something that's going to last forever. The government here is very strict on what can be extracted. So every single tree, either on this end or the other end, will have a little yellow tag. Here's a little yellow tag. So these little yellow tags, these are the permits, these are the guías that are used for transportation. So the government will actually come and, so the SENAC, this is a government organization. So SENAC, you can see this is a government organization. The English translation is for Conservation Areas, Protected Wildlife, Biological Corridors, and Forest Resources. So basically, it's a government organization making sure that it's a sustainable process. We're not causing harm to the ecological system, and the trees that we're removing are allowed to be removed, or should be removed. It's proper timing, and for the zone, for the tree, for whatever reason, it's for a reasonable cause we can extract the tree. Because here, Costa Rica is very famous for their eco-friendly tourism. Last thing they want to do is go down and cut down the whole forest. Costa Rica is actually one of the only countries in the world that has reforested its land. It's gone from some 47% to 63% forest coverage in the past decade or so. They've passed many laws, making it more and more difficult for the extraction of logs, which is, it's good for us because we're legal. Everything's what we do is we want logs that have come to the end of the life cycle, that have begun to rot. We like that character. Typical lumber yards, especially in hardwood flooring, which is big. It's very bad because it's you have a lot of waste. When you're doing hardwood floor, you get some 15-20% usage of the wood of the tree itself. Where compared to us, when we're doing slabs, only your first and your last slab is going to waste, and we turn that, we'll send that all over to our boilers to use that for the heat source to dry the slabs. We try to take advantage of every piece of every tree, everything from the root bases to the trunks to the branches. The roots, we're doing our root bases, the trunks, our slabs. Branches, we're doing our live edge lumber, our river tables, charcuterie boards. So we really want to maximize the usage of every tree and not just take the big trunk and throw away the rest. You know, we really want to do our part for the ecosystem and you know, take advantage of every bit we can, not leaving anything behind just to burn or bury. One of the good things, you know, we do is everything from the truckers to the mill. We're giving them a sustainable job source, supply, a steady demand of milling and trucking, and the guys that are buying the logs. Before, you know, a lot of the times the guys that are extracting these, you know, they have big bulldozers, big crews, big trucks. They have to bring them all the way, you know, a 4 or 5 hour drive, you know, from up north, bring them here, because here, this is where most of the mills are located. And basically, before, the old system is they would come, park the truck on the side of the road. Sometimes they'd wait 2, 3 a week trying to sell that truck of load to somebody that'll give them a reasonable price. And so what we've done is working very closely. We have a big group of extractors that work for us. They're independent, they work for us, but they supply us with the logs because they know we're gonna buy everything. You know, we don't just want to buy the big log, but we also want to buy the small stuff. We want to take advantage of everything, you know, because anybody can come and just buy one big log. But in reality, for the production that we're doing, the size that we're at, it's not realistic. You know, we can't just get the big fat trunk and leave this, you know, the small timber behind. You know, because then, you know, even the miller, the extractors, they're stuck with lots of small stuff. You know, and anybody and everybody wants to buy, especially like this, you know, it's a nice healthy big log. Now who's going to consume the small stuff? So that's why we're really focusing on opening up the river tables and the live edge lumber. We want to consume everything we can when it comes to the tree, not just the cream of the crop, right? Anybody, you know, it's easy for someone to come and buy a couple big logs, but when you're buying the amount of big logs that we are, you know, you need to take the small stuff as well. And you know, we're coming up with the river tables, the live edge lumber, charcuterie boards, dimensional lumber, a lot of different uses for the smaller logs. So we're sustainable, so we're keeping they're happy, they're moving, you know, they can go from job site to job site comfortably. They're not here sitting 3-4 days in their truck trying to sell a load of logs. They know if they come with their logs, you know, we're gonna buy it. With the guy at the mill, the owner of this mill, Kachi, very nice guy, very close to our shop. He knows he has enough work for his guys to work for the next, you know, 6 months at least. Because, you know, we're always bringing in wood here, dropping our wood at his patio. We have it full of wood. So he knows he has a steady job. Where before it was a small contract, a small little furniture shop. They bring one truckload, mill it, and then he's out of work for, you know, a couple days, 3-4 days, waiting for the next job to come up. Where with us, he knows every single day, 6 days a week, he has, you know, wood to mill. And so, again, we don't own the mill. We're not interested in owning a mill. We prefer, you know, third generation. This guy knows what he's doing. He's been doing it. His dad's doing it. You know, he's learned from being a small kid around the mill. He knows how to mill much better than we do. And so, you know, we work very closely, make a very strong relationship with the locals here, keep them happy. Lots of work, you know, and independent, you know, he's happy, he's able to keep his business alive. He's, you know, thriving, and he has his log yard full of logs ready to mill. So he knows for the next 6 months, year, he's gonna have a steady work, steady jobs for his workers. So it's not just our workers, you know, but making, you know, the very good relationship, everything from our truck drivers to the extractors to the millers to the guys at the kilns. You know, it's very important for us, you know, because we don't want to go out and buy a new mill and buy new trucks. Yeah, we could, but we get no benefit. You know, here we have good relationships. From word of mouth, they get wood here, there. You know, we learn a lot. You know, they tell us tricks. You know, mill this way, mill that way, and so we're learning from the guys that have been doing this for 60 years. You know, he's been doing it for 60 years. His dad's been doing it for 60 years. His grandfather was doing it 60 before that. You know, so
everybody takes care of everybody.
Everybody takes care of everybody. You know, it's Costa Rica, pura vida. You don't want to. You want to make that relationship, that bond with the locals, and make everybody happy, make everybody work together. You know, as long as everybody's making money, everybody's happy. Proof's in the pudding. There's no better way to put it. There's no, you know, anybody can falsify some document or something like that, but when you show, you know, these trees are dead or dying, you know, this, you know, you can really see that, and that's why Costa Rica is so special for us. You know, I always look at it like a special little atom. You know, everything works. You know, the kilns work because there's a lot of pallet manufacturers. There's a large quantity of biodegradable biofuel that we can use to supply the kilns. The logs, you know, what makes Costa Rica or our company different from anybody else in the world? We didn't just find this money pot of big logs in some section of Costa Rica. No, it doesn't work that way. You know, it's Costa Rica for many generations has been protecting their ecosystem. They've been protecting their ecosystem. They're protecting, you know, their forests, their trees. You know, they're you know, that's a lot of tourism here is based on that. And so it's not we just found this money hole or Costa Rica, the trees grow faster. No, it's, you know, they've been protecting for many generations, and that's why we have so many big trees. It's not that, you know, why doesn't Mexico, Nicaragua, or Brazil like have this many? You know, you don't find anybody that has this many. You might get, even in the States or Canada, you know, you back in the day, yeah, you'd find a lot of big logs, but everybody's cut them all down. And it, you know, it takes time for these big monsters to grow. And you know, you don't come across them, you know, especially in the States, Canada, even Mexico, you know, once in a blue moon, you know, you find one or two of these big monsters. Oh wow, you know, I got this once in a lifetime 50-inch log. You know, for us, it's just another one in the pile, because we get them so often, because Costa Rica has done the hard work of protecting these logs for you know, the past, you know, 50-60 years. They realized a long time ago how important it was to the ecosystem, and for the country as well, to protect their land, protect their trees, and so that's why we have this steady flow, and we'll maintain this steady flow of big trees. It's not like this is just going to last, you know, 1 or 2 years. You know, we've been at this for 5-6 years and never had a shortage of big logs. Log. Yeah, it's a super very rare tree. It was, you know, amazing. Like, a lot of people didn't want to cut it down, but you have two options. You either let it stand and die and rot in place for another, you know, 10-20 years until it just crumbles into pieces, then it's useless, or we extract it, we're going to turn it into furniture. You know, Zach's, I know he's going to make some beautiful, you know, slabs, crosscuts that are, these are amazing, and they're going to last for the next, you know, 100 years, going from generation to generation as tables, you know, tabletops, art pieces, whatever they may be. Or just Zach's personal collection item.
You know Zach loves his wood.
Oh, I know. He's already talking about, you know, oh, I'm gonna save them. And Zach, rule number 1, don't fall in love with your wood. So here you can see, still 4 hearts are coming out. This is amazing. This is gonna be awesome. Está bonito, ¿eh, chicos?
Sí.
Es duro la madera.
Durísimo.
They said they like it. Ask them. Is it hard? It's really hard.
Dígale que tengo hasta los dientes flojos.
Huh?
Hasta que tengo los dientes flojos de tanta vibración.
He says his teeth are vibrating loose from how much vibration it is.
Oh, doing the chainsaw?
With the chainsaw.
You fixing it up right now?
Yep, so they just change out the blade. So they change out the blade, swap it out. Crosscuts like this, they'll probably go through a chain for crosscut. So yesterday they found 2, today they found 1. Looks like a little bullet, some kind of lead bullet in the center of the tree. So this lead bullet was in the tree. Somebody shot your tree, Zach. All right, so this is another, for example, massive peroda. I don't know what, 25 feet long, 45, 50 inches wide. You know, a lot of people think, oh, it's very, you know, it's a sin to pull something like this, you know, cut it down. But the reality is, you know, look, this tree has started to rot. And even at this point, you know, a lot of lumber yards, they would look at this, you know, poor quality. You know, it's, you know, they don't want it. You don't want to waste the time because all of this lumber here, it's going to be, you know, pretty much useless, just because it's not going to be, you know, furniture quality. For us, this is grade A, baby. This is going to make some amazing slabs. I have clients that are going to, you know, head over heels for slabs like this, you know. So the other thing that's also very important about our process, our production, our facility, nothing goes to waste. That's, you know, we always try to put everything to waste, so you can see everything from, you know, all small little cut off pieces, chunks, everything we save it. All our sawmills, cut offs, and all the older, you know, locals that are milling, they save all of their cut-offs, and these are all going to go to the burner, the boiler, to use this. This is our energy source to dry the slabs. So that's why I say, you know, it's this perfect little atom. You know, everything works in this form. You know, the slabs, the logs, the country, the cut-offs, everything is just this perfect little cycle that works. You know, it'd be almost impossible to replicate this anywhere else. Just because, you know, everything that's in place, you know, it's just not one thing. It's not just opening up a building or opening up a kiln, you know, because, yeah, here you could open up a kiln powered propane or gasoline, diesel powered, but it's not the same, and it's going to be very, very expensive. Here, next to nothing, you know, it's just time to load this up into the truck and dump it into the boiler. But we're using every piece of the tree, trying to be as sustainable as possible, and not adding to the waste. This is to die for. You know, they want it, they love it. You know, massive crosscut. This is what, 90 inches wide, probably 80 inches on this side. It's been dead for a couple years. You can see that inside starting to rot out. Yeah, this is, I mean, the best thing I can show anybody, you know, is the proof. You know, that, you know, the trees have come to their end of the life cycle, and we want to take advantage of them and turn them in, recycle them, give them to a good life. You know, something like this, you turn it into a nice table. I can imagine this in my house, my family, my kids' family, sitting around a table like this with something that'll last generations.